And we are here, we are live. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here on this morning. It is a little bit cloudy here in Halifax. And today I am very, very excited for two reasons. First, because I pulled the trigger on doing this Salon of Brilliance that I've been thinking about for a long time. And I'm going to welcome everybody every month for now. And we will have a guest with us every time to talk about a topic that it will be of very much of an interest for many people. And today I am double excited because I'm having my friend for a long time, Elizabeth Johnston. She is the queen of storytelling. I'll tell you, I'll attest to that. So Elizabeth has been up to so many great things. I met with her quite a while ago, about 5 years now. I cannot believe.
Yeah, it's at least 5 years.
Yes. So I met with her, and she actually really affected a lot of my journey. She had a great impact. We're going to talk more about that and how she can impact your lives as well and your journey. So how am I going to introduce Elizabeth? I told you she's a queen of storytelling, but also she is the expert of transforming the way of thinking, looking into your life and finding the creativity in your life. She's full of innovation. She has started with Own Your Creativity. Her business is still Own Your Creativity. And she had started with working on storytelling workshops and retreats, which I was like really very lucky to be attending a few of them. But now she's up to new things, and we're going to ask her. She considers herself a coach, a transformative coach, and actualizing coach. That's a new term. So we will be asking her more questions. So welcome, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I love your introduction of me. That was like so great. So
Yeah.
natural and, just real. I loved it.
Well, it's true. It is true. I'm going to admit people that are in the waiting room,
Yeah.
and then we will be going into the conversation. So for those of you who are watching us live, I'm going to look in my phone to see who is live with us. You can join us in the Zoom room for continuous conversation. We will be chatting with Elizabeth for about 20 minutes, and that portion would be live. We will stream it live. You can write us notes or ask questions. But when we are starting to have the conversation with the attendants, it would be only in the Zoom room. So if you want to join the conversation, have more like personable questions to Elizabeth, and it will be a safe space for only the people who are going to join us, and then you can share and you'll be more vulnerable. You don't feel like you're live on for everybody to watch you. So please join us. I have shared the Zoom link actually in the event. On the event page, look at the discussion in the event and you will find the Zoom link and you can join us. Even if you're a little bit late, I will admit you into the Zoom room. So I'm going to welcome Nikki. She's with us today, and she's the first who jumped on the call with us. Nice meeting you, Nikki. Great to have you here. And you're up to a really nice conversation.
Thank you very much. And I missed the beginning of that, of what you were saying about coming to the Zoom room. So am I in the right place is my first question.
You are. You are.
Awesome. And Elizabeth, nice to see you and meet you again.
Yeah, lovely to see you here. Actually, Nikki is one of my speakers at the Chez Layla Festival, which we'll talk about later. And so is Layla.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Elizabeth, we met 5 years ago at the One Woman conference. We met in Montreal, and you also have you also interviewed me in your podcast. So there's a lot on on your plate. There you do a lot of things. All of them are innovative. Do you want to share with us how did you come to focus on storytelling? And how would that become like your mission in life it appears.
Yeah.
I can see it's a mission or a calling, as you would like to say.
Yeah, definitely. But I'd love also to like share this story a little bit more detail about how we met, at One
Yes,
Woman,
yes,
you
me
know?
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I applied as a speaker at the One Woman show that was coming to the Montreal area. It was actually on the South Shore, and it's a place that I hadn't been to before. And anyway, I wanted to make some connections with the other speakers. They were coming from all over the place, flying in. And I think at that point you were living in New Brunswick, weren't you, Layla?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So you were coming in from there, and other people I think that we even had people from the States coming in. So anyway, so I reached out to all of the speakers to ask if they would be on my podcast, Own Your Creativity. And I can't remember how many speakers, but there were, I don't know, like 15, 20, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think only about 5 people said yes to being on the podcast, which really kind of surprised me because it's like an extra way of promoting yourself, But anyway, and then Layla was one of the people that said yes, and we had a great conversation. And ever since then, we've just been staying connected, and it's really amazing. You never know who you're going to meet and the connections that will transpire. But like, I'm quite sure that we wouldn't have continued our friendship if I hadn't reached out, because there's lots going on that day. And, there's so many speakers, and, we have our own table, and like, there's so many things going on. I don't know that, we would have made that connection so quickly, if I hadn't have reached out and we got a chance to know each other. So yeah, that was so cool.
It was. And I still remember you called me and I was like, I've never been, that was my first podcast ever. And I was like, I did not know what to expect. I was like, a little bit, exploring everything. And I was looking for you and I got there because I felt that you are the only person that I know that we have connected earlier. And
Yeah.
I spoke actually in Ottawa before I came to Montreal. So it was nice to have someone that you already connected with, and we kept the connection. And then we had so many retreats. You have done a lot of retreats
Yep.
on when we started at that point. You have been there before. So do you want to tell us about how did you start this? Because I have heard your origin story a few times, and every time you tell it, it makes me feel as if it's the first time. It's a really nice story. So do you want to share your origin story?
Um, Yeah, well, I might actually, share something different as we go along, but answering
Yeah.
that question. But yeah, so like for me, I always felt connected to story, and it goes back to my childhood. And it wasn't until I was in university that I really thought of myself as a writer and a story maker. Even though I had always kept a journal, and I was a voracious reader, loved reading fiction. And I was in a class, in a humanities class. It was my second one, and I decided that I was going to major in humanities because I love that topic. And when my first humanities class, I got all A's, so I thought, yep, this is what I'm going to major in. Took my second class, got my first paper back, and I didn't get an A. I got I don't even know what my mark was. Maybe it was C or D. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't an A. And there was a note on it from the professor saying, please see me. And I was devastated because, I'm a high achiever. I get high marks, across the board usually. And so that was embarrassing. And then on top of that, I had to go, to the professor's office, and I was just mortified. So I go there and he says, well, it's not a great essay, but it's a wonderful story. Have you ever thought of getting into creative writing? And I didn't even know that you could take that as a program. And he encouraged me to put together a portfolio and apply for the program. And he says, so do you have any stories or poems? And I said, no, I don't think so. And he said, would you have a journal? And I said, yeah, I have a journal. So I brought that in, and he went through it with me, and he picked out things that I could make into poems or excerpts and stuff. So he was really great. And then I submitted it, and I all the time that I was doing it, I kind of felt like I was just being the good student. The professor said to do it, so I'm going to do this. And then several months after the end of the session, I got my letter in the mail from the program, and I got accepted. And I broke into tears when I saw that I got accepted. And it was only then that I realized I really wanted this. And I was so grateful for that professor who went out of his way to single me out and help me with my portfolio, because that's when I really realized that I was a writer. I'd been a writer, for all those years, but I hadn't had that perspective shift, until that professor. And then after that, I started teaching. I got a master's. Well, my BA was creative writing humanities, and then my master's was in screenwriting, film and video. So everything was always story with me. And I started teaching all different kinds, screenwriting, poetry, memoir, all that sort of thing. And while I was teaching that at the university level, I would be chit-chatting with people, and they say, "Oh, I'd love to, do that, but I don't have the time to take a course at night." And so I thought, how can I create like a one-day seminar for like screenwriting, let's say, or memoir, or. And so that's what I started, like in person one-day workshops. And then I got into the online world, and I was still doing that, for like hobby writers or people who just wanted to write poetry or different things. But then I got into like the entrepreneurial game, and I realized that the way that a lot of storytelling gurus were teaching story was just not the way that it should be. I had a lot of problems with, their approach. So I just threw my hat in the ring to try and help entrepreneurs with their story. And then you took that program with me, and, creating your origin story, and yeah. And I also do like one-day online retreats as well, around story and creativity. And yeah, that's how I landed here.
Yeah, well, it's a very interesting story. Every time I think that we do not sometimes know our potential and what we're meant for until somebody recognizes something in us. They recognize a skill or an ability, and then they can like shine a light on it, and it would make you realize, oh yes. And then that's what I like about your story, your origin story, because most people who attend with you, who I have had the chance to get to meet as well, and they're great people that I met through your retreats, we were always saying that we did not think that we could be that creative. Like for me, when I was younger, I used to write, I used to journal, I used to write more, but then I felt that life has been really tough, and I closed on myself, that I wasn't really willing to share much. And I forgot that writing, even for yourself sometimes, would release a lot of your tension or your stress or your thoughts that are racing in your head. When you put them onto paper, you just like lay them out all in front of you, like, the ink on the paper. And even when you want to achieve something and you write it down and you look at it, it makes it feel more real, that you can achieve it more. So attending the courses and then finding those creativity that were within me, or like reignite them or awaken them, was a great story. And then you already had that in you, but you didn't know about it. And that's not what you do. Like, you try to help people finding their potential that they have forgotten in like a drawer long, long time ago. And then you try and you go there and you dig in that drawer and you pull the things that were like really exciting, really beautiful, that can transform their life, and then they can do them. And you are now on a new venture, like you have channeled from just offering those retreats into doing something more. Like
Right.
you have this actualization
Mhm.
school.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us more about this?
Yeah, I'd love to. So, in the process of, doing my online retreats for, people who just want to write story, or entrepreneurs who want to use story in their business, I did come across time and time again that people didn't realize that they already had those stories. And like you say, it's just a matter of like asking the right questions or giving them the right prompts that they can, rediscover it. Because a lot of times people will say like, oh, I don't have a creative bone in my body, but we're all creative. We're all sitting here living, breathing at whatever age we are at. That means we're creative, and so but as I was working with entrepreneurs, and also people who are wanting to write a novel or the memoir or whatever, is that a lot of times they will say like, oh yeah, I really want to do this, this is really important, and then you check in with them 6 months later and they haven't done it.
I haven't
And
done it.
and that's why you join my program, right? But and so this is the thing that I realized is that our creative life, even though we can reconnect with it, through a workshop or something, once we leave the container of that workshop or that retreat, life just like kind of like, washes over us again, and all of the exterior demands are tugging at us. And so that fragile creativity spark that we ignited in the workshop can go out again. And so I realized that it isn't just me helping people unearth their stories. That they actually need something more to actually finish that, because once you unearth it, then you have to shape it and polish it and nurture it and whatnot. And so it does take that sort of nurturing process. And about 10 years ago, when along with teaching all of those creative writing courses, I started teaching a course that's called Self-Management Techniques. And it's designed for students who have failed out of their program and need to take that course to get back on track with their academic goals. And whenever I would mention that course to people, and a lot of entrepreneurs, they say, oh, I need that one, because they recognize that they didn't have the discipline to stay aligned to their creativity and their purpose by themselves.
Mhm.
And there's no wonder. I mean, it's not their fault, because our society, especially North American society, it's all about, money and results and working for retirement and, all those kinds of things that pull us away from our soul's purpose. And so I had been thinking for many years, like, I've got to somehow combine what I'm doing and, with these students who, failed out of their program, because in a way, all those budding writers and entrepreneurs who want to use story more strategically in their business, they kind of failed, in doing that, because life got in the way again, right? About, where their priorities are, or the choices that they've made. And so I, over the years, I'm thinking, how can I help them? How can I help them? And, I knew the answer was self-actualization, plus the training and the techniques to unearth their story. But it wasn't until this year that I finally kind of put it together in the Actualizer School. So that is for anybody who has a desire to use story in their business, or realign their business with their purpose, with their soul, and that involves creativity. Right. So you can't realign your business with your soul's purpose without tapping into your creativity. So I put those two things together, my two kind of expertises and passions together in the Actualizer School. And self-actualization is, Maslow's hierarchy. Like at the beginning, we were just concerned with survival needs. But then as we move up that pyramid, we get to self-actualization. And that's where we can really bring together everything, all of our experiences, all of our education, and start really expressing who we are and then giving back. And so that's what the school is all about.
It's amazing because when you talk about self-actualization, it kind of leads to something similar to what I do at the end. Like you are working on the bottom when they are like digging and finding those creativity.
Yeah.
And people, when they discover that, but they just don't know what to do with it,
Yes.
And then in the hierarchy, it seems like this is what we think about, oh, when I talk about personal branding or about presenting yourself or showing your best image, or even finding your identity and really dig deep in yourself, and then who you truly are and how you're connecting with others, people will think that this is something, it's a luxury. It's not, I don't really need that because I'm going on with my life. Everything is fine. I am who I am, which is true. So they don't realize that whatever they're doing, whether they're intentional or not, they're thinking about it or not, they are representing something and they are showing themselves in a certain image. So if they want this image to be more positive or more impactful, or to connect them on a better level, or show their authenticity, they might need to do that intentionally. And there are techniques and mechanism of doing that, and that's what I teach them. So when you're talking about actualizing these things that are deep inside, that people will put it on the side, oh, it's not really important, this is not going to put bread on the table, I have to go to work, I have to do this and that, and I have like priorities, family, my relationship is at danger, I need to focus on that. But all what you're doing, and something similar to what I'm doing, I'm helping you and you're helping them finding their true self that would reshape their view of life and their view of themselves, and they would be interacting with others on a way different level, that would, like, everything was going to fall in place, and it would make it easier for their life to carry on without thinking about necessity and priorities. It is going to be who they are. It is just like finding who they are. And that's what. So how do people get to the actualization school, or what you do, and how do they get to connect with you and find that?
Yeah, well, they can, we can share the link with them if you like. It's school.com/actualizers. And it's a free community. And yeah, it's how easy it is.
Great. I'll put the link down in the comments afterwards, because the live video would be on Facebook for quite some time. And if you save it, I think it would continue to be there. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a moment and welcome Yoli. She's been here for a little bit. I admitted her to come and join us, but I didn't acknowledge her being here. So I'm very pleased to have you. And I'm going just to look at some of the people who have been on live here, that they have some notes. I have Brooke. Hi, Brooke. Paula, Angelique, Amy. I'm very happy to have you. I'm hoping that you're enjoying that. If people who are watching us live and are unable to join the Zoom, if you have questions that you want to ask us while we are live, please post the questions to Elizabeth, and I will ask her those questions so she can answer you. And then we are going to also talk about the essence of this. So this is supposed to be talking more, not supposed, but what it is, talking more about the value of storytelling and of the creativity on life. I have, you alluded to that on why you're doing this, but can you tell people more? How can they really shift their lives once they start telling their story in their business, in their life, to their friends, in their work? Just tell them more, and maybe that would ignite some of the thoughts why we're having this conversation.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times people will drift through their life, and they get to a certain age and they look back and think like, oh, I really wanted to do X, Y, or Z, but like you say, my marriage or my mortgage or all of these other things are like way more important. Um but when you look at your story, it gives you confidence. I had one woman who took a memoir writing class, life writing class, with me, and she was newly retired. And as she was writing, she realized that it wasn't scary to be retired, because her whole identity was wrapped up in her job, and she didn't know what she was going to do. And so she took my class, she started unearthing her stories, and realized that she is strong, resilient, she can roll with the punches. She had all these success stories that were kind of rattling around in her brain and her body, but but she hadn't connected the dots. And so it can really transform your confidence. But for entrepreneurs, getting clarity on your story and your origin story and why you're doing what you're doing, it can really give yourself a firmer grounding on how you show up online. And it can help you differentiate yourself from other people who do similar things to you. So, I think that's one thing that keeps a lot of people back in their entrepreneurial journey, is that they think, well, there's so many other people doing what I'm doing. I have to like think out of the box and do something completely different. But then that's not you, right? So when you go back to who you are, and it can give you clarity of purpose. Another example is I had a client who she created a business that, and she wasn't clear on what like why she started it. And it was folding pieces of paper to make like little like paper bags or boxes or stuff. And then she encouraged people to put gifts in them once they created these paper boxes or whatever. And so I asked her, I said, why did you start this business? And she said, well, I'm retired from my government job. And I've been doing this for many years, even before I retired. And my husband went into the basement one day and he said, there's so many papers down here. Do something with this or just throw it all out. And so she decided, okay, well, I'll do these workshops. I'll create a little business doing these workshops. And so her reason for starting the business was that her husband yelled at her. And I said, but there's got to be something deeper than that, because, you kept those papers. You didn't ditch them and then get a job at Walmart, as a greeter or something. You wanted to do this. So like, why did you want to do this? And in the workshop, the other participants were saying like, oh, go easy on her. Maybe that is the reason, don't stop digging, the name of her business had something to do with like treats in it. And I said to her, what, when you were in your government job, which paid really well, she had a great pension, she's, living fine. She doesn't need to do an extra job in her retirement. But when you were doing that government job that you liked, was there a time where you realized that you weren't getting enough treats from that job? You weren't getting enough emotional satisfaction from that job? And as soon as I asked that question, a light bulb went off. She answered the question, and she pinpointed the exact time when she realized that she had to go and feed her creative soul. So she started taking all different kinds of workshops, and then she landed on paper arts as the thing that she wanted to do. And further than that, she also wanted to add that thing about adding a treat into the paper boxes or envelopes that she helped people make, because she recognized how lucky she was to have this great government job, and that not everybody is in the same position. So she wanted to give back to those women who weren't as lucky as she was. And as soon as she said that, like, I just teared up, and then, yeah, I want to take your workshop. Yeah. Right. So that's how it can help you differentiate yourself, amongst other people who are doing the same thing. And, you line them up, and this person has a compelling story about why she does what she does. It's like, yeah, I want to help you make the world a better place. So that's the other way.
Yes, it is great, because I love the story. I love to hear stories about people telling their stories, because there's always something inside of us that we want to achieve, and there's a motive. We don't really know it right away, but we just like it takes us as either somebody to push us or an aha moment like this. And then once you tell the story and you resonate with others. I know that we are going past the 20 minutes that I've seen. Some people are asking to join. I'm just going to say, yes, you can join the Zoom link. I shared it on the event. You can join. It's not for women only. It's for everybody. I don't think Elizabeth or anybody would like really mind having any of our male friends there to join us, or the men. But we are going to talk about the next thing, might be just for women, because we are going to talk about She Leads Vision Fest. But this is for everybody. We're going to talk about that, and then we are going just to stop the broadcasting live. So anyone who wants to join us, please feel free to join us. We will still have half an hour. We're just going to talk a little bit quickly about the new initiative that you started. You now founded the She Leads Vision Fest, which I am very, very honored to be part of it. And I'm going to be a speaker. And Nikki, who is with us now, also is a speaker. Do you want to tell us how did you come with this initiative? And what inspires you to do it? And what are your aspirations for this? Where to go?
Yes, I'd love to share that. Thank you. So I was inspired by Elizabeth Ocean, who did this kind of a festival in March, and I was one of the speakers there, and I just loved her model. I've done many summits before, so I'm not new to that playground, but the way that she created this sort of like summit and called it a festival, I just loved it, and I knew right away that I wanted to have my own. And so then I came up with the name She Leads Vision Fest, because for me, so many women don't understand that they have a lot more power within them to affect change in their life for the better, and specifically in their personal growth and their healing journeys. And you know, we have a lot of healers that are going to be talking about issues that they have overcome in their own life. They found solutions that, you know, the conventional system didn't have, and now they help other women with that same issue. And I really believe that we need to lead the way for each other to empower us with these alternative modalities, because oftentimes there is a solution out there, and you know, as great as the medical establishment is, and I'm glad and grateful that they're there, they don't have all the answers. And sometimes it takes us, you know, to be really focused and find out the solutions for ourselves. And I you know, the sooner that we spread the word, and the more that we can spread the word about the solutions that we've created, the better. And you know, I would love it if this was just kind of common knowledge, you know, the stuff that you're going to learn at She Leads would become common knowledge. And then people, you know, won't be trying to figure out for years and years, you know, or thinking that they have to just accept things as they are. So yeah, so I'm so excited for She Leads. We've got 100 and over 100 speakers so far. It's a 14-day festival. Yep. 14-day festival. And sometimes people said, and I actually got this from some people who are saying, like, who wanted to be speakers, to say, well, how are we supposed to get any clients if, like, there's so much competition? And it's like, but that's not the point. It's collaborative, right? It's about, you know, rising tide, and you know, lifts all boats, and it's about each of the speakers is going to bring 10 attendees minimum. They've agreed to do that, and with 100 people, we'll have 1,000 people in there. And it's like, you know, unless you're like already like making $1 million, you know, a day in your business, you probably can't handle 1,000 clients at once, right? So there's enough pie to go around. And so yeah, so that's the other thing. It's a different marketing model as well. I think it's more women centric as well. And yeah, so that's She Leads Vision Fest.
It's exciting. I was very, very happy that you approached me and asked me to be a speaker. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to be talking about. I have a lot to talk about, but I haven't decided yet what is going to be the major topic. But I wanted just to comment on this, you know, mentality of people thinking that we are in competition. And I've been asked sometimes when somebody is just like trying to ask me, who is your competitor, or who are the others in the market? I said, I don't know. I mean, everybody is individual. Like, we have our individuality. Why would people work with you? Well, they would work with me because they trust me. They feel that we connect in our energy. The way I'm doing my things resonate with them. I'm not going to say and they say, do you think you are the best at what you do? It's not about being the best or the top or the most, you know, the one that makes more money, or my income. I generate how many thousands, like 10,000, 20,000 a day, or 100,000 a day. this is not the point. The point is that I am here to help people. You, Elizabeth, is the same. I'm pretty sure Nikki and Yoli, you are the same. Everybody who's listening who is a coach or a healer. If you are really truly wanting to do this because this is your calling, or this is your passion, or this is something that you want to impact people's life, you do it because you're enjoying it. You're making a living out of it, yes, but it is just because you do enjoy it. And that's how it manifests in people, the impact that you do on people's life. When they come back and say, yes, this person, I work with this person and she really made an impact on my life, or she changed my point of view, or my mindset, or you know, how I see the world, or how I figured my creativity and found my passion in life. And you know, these are the things that matters. Eventually you would get you earn some money from it. This is, I've considered that side effect. If you're going after the money, you're just going to be stuck and you're not going to go anywhere. It might be a quick win. You might make this week, but next week and the next months, you don't know. But it's a long run game. That's how I always think about it. I'm doing this even if I can do it for free. I enjoy what I'm doing. I will offer it for free if I need to, or I can. But that's, if I can make money from what I help people with, that's great. If I don't, I'm still going to help people.
Yeah.
So this mentality of like competition is really, I don't understand it. Maybe I can get why people would think about that. There's a desire to make it, like, life is not easy. We need to make money. We are, but just think about it collaboratively, and it would go way further. There's room for everyone to work, do things that are really meaningful in this life.
Yeah, I agree. There's enough pie for everyone. And
Exactly. Yeah.
and it is all about your perspective and a shift in mindset.
Yeah. So are you still accepting the speakers, or
Yes.
you have
Yep,
enough?
we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to share a link also for the speakers again. And then for attendees, when are they open to register is it open already?
No, the doors for registration will be open on July 18th. So this coming Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we will share that later on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, Nikki, I see that you came on the camera. Do you want to share something? I want to give you the space. We are live, and I'm going to be turning off the live podcast. But do you want to say something before to the audience? Do you want to share something?
I do. I think so often we get stuck in the space of competition. And it's so sad because there are so many people out there needing help, and there are so few people giving help. And yes, a lot of us do what we do as a business, but your business is not going to survive unless people know that you care enough to do it, regardless of how many other people are doing it. And I think that is so powerful. And I think this is one of the beautiful things about the She Leads Vision Fest, is that there are so many different avenues of speakers, of people sharing, that we do get to collaborate. However, what if you have somebody in your circle who would be better served by connecting with one of those other speakers? Because our job as healers in any form is to serve those people around us the best. And if you don't collaborate with other people, you cannot send the people around you who would best be served by somebody else to somebody else. And that authenticity and that integrity carries its own reward. Because when people know, you know that saying, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes. Yeah.
If you cannot serve somebody to the best capacity of what their needs are, why are you trying to serve them at all? And if you don't know who else can serve them, so I see this as beneficial all round for the collaboration between the speakers, for the attendees that are going to be there. And I hope you're all going to be first in line. Each one of you watching should be first in line to sign up for this event on the 18th. And if you're standing there saying, I know I have some healing to bring the world, but I don't know what to say, yes, you do. You have a story to tell. So come in and join us as speakers. We'd love to embrace you and welcome you. And I'm super pleased that I'm going to be a speaker there and I get to meet the other speakers. So that's what I wanted to share on that.
Well, thank you, Nikki. That is really beautiful, beautifully said. And yes, I am looking forward to speak and to connect with other speakers. Some of the people that I made a connection with and became friends, some of them I have never met in person, but we still are connected through some of the events and the, the summits or the events or any other on the online platform has become now a new virtual world, but it's for real. Like it is supposed to be virtual, but I find people that I connected online that are closer to me than people that I see every day sometimes. Yeah, so it is a great opportunity. So I'm going to add again to say, if you are you have a story and you think that the story can help one person, even not only 1,000 people, if you can help one, you can help 1,000,000. So if you have a story that you think it can inspire somebody or can help someone open their eyes to a new perspective in their life, you want to share your story, the room is still open for speakers. I'm going to share the link down in the below the live after we finish here. And we will share if you want to just attend and hear different awesome speakers lined up already. You can, we will share the link on the 17th or the 18th, you said.
18th, yeah. 18th of
So
July.
we'll share that so you can also sign up. And we are going to go, now we're going to turn off the live broadcast. If you want to join us, the link to the Zoom room is on the event itself. You can go and check that. Do you want to share something before we go offline, or do you want to just share the conversation afterwards?
Hi, good morning.
Hi,
Good
Yoli.
morning.
Sorry, one moment. I'll turn on my camera. I was busy doing my thing. Here we go.
Busy bee, always, as always. Hey.
Yeah. I was bottling my ferment vegetables that I made last night.
Lovely.
Oh, nice, beautiful. Are you
Yeah.
still doing your Saturday classes?
Not yet. But I do have an event coming up next week on healthy aging.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 11 a.m. Thursday the 18th. Yes.
Well, share that with me, and I'll share it also with my audience. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad I came on today because it's funny. I'm sorry, is it Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Elizabeth, you know what you said, I can it really it hit me the right way, because I've been thinking a lot about sharing more, being more vulnerable, because I'm an introvert. I don't even like to be on camera.
Yeah, well, we're gonna
Congratulations that you made it here.
Yeah.
See, you have inspired her. That's a good that is an instant effect or impact.
Yeah, so I've been writing more, really looking back how I got here. And I said, Yoli, you have an interesting life. You've done so much. You give yourself some credit. Don't hide, because somebody could learn from you. I don't know if you know that, Layla. I had my twins at 49.
Oh,
Whoa.
not know that. Wow.
Amazing.
You're
Yeah.
not even like, are they just babies? Because you don't look as you're older.
I brought them home on my birthday. Actually, our birthday is coming up because their birthday is on the 19th. They're going to be 17, and I'm going to be 66 on the 23rd.
Oh, look at you. Wow, that's amazing. Well, you have a story to share. Maybe you should share it on the She Leads Vision Fest. That will be your first exposure and sharing your story. Maybe that's where you are. It's meant to be.
I know, huh? Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sending me that invite to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. I always love to be connected with you. So I'm going to be turning off the broadcast. As I said, feel free to join us. The link to the Zoom is in the event itself, in the discussion. You can find it as a post. You can go there and join us. And I'm going to see you, everyone, next month. We are going to do that on the second Sunday of every month. Our next session will be with Angelique Binet. I'm going to be talking more about that. There's a great story behind that as well. So stay tuned, and I'll be sharing all the registration and everything with you. It was great having everyone watching us, and see you again soon.
Can I
Bye-bye.
say one more thing before you?
Sorry, yeah, Elizabeth, sorry, I have to
Yeah.
say something. Sorry, my bad.
No worries. Yeah, I just wanted to connect with something that Nikki said about collaborating, and how, like, even if you're doing the same thing as somebody else, you might recognize that another practitioner is better suited to help that client. So I was in a JV community, and I'm going to talk more about this to the speakers as well. But being aware of what each other does and where they are on their journey, because you may help them with the same thing, but maybe you help people at the beginning of their journey or the middle, And so if somebody comes to you, that's more advanced, you might say, like, actually, like, we go over these like rudiments. If you're good with those, I can recommend you, the next stage is to work with so-and-so, right? So that's the other thing that I hope comes out of the collaboration of the She Leads Fest, is that you connect with other speakers and really, get a sense of like how you can help each other and refer people to each other if it's appropriate, and if it works, So that's another way that there's enough pie for everybody, and we're looking out for each other.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I would like to piggyback on that for a second, very quickly. Even if you don't feel like you're somebody who has that generosity of spirit to be handing clients to other people, you get to learn when you are collaborating. When you go to these summits and these events and you hear how other people speak, you hear how they answer questions, you get to grow and learn for yourself. So there's a lot of self-growth in that, as well as growing community. And in one of my talks, I said something that everybody gasped at, and that is, community is your boat in the river of life. We're not made to do it alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that is true. Yeah.
Exactly.
Amen to
Yes. Amen. So this is my bad. I'm new at this. I knew how to open, but I did not know how to close. So for those of you who are watching, this was Elizabeth Johnston with us, and she shared her story and the great things that she's up to. We are going to share the link for you to discover her school, the Actualization School. And also the link to She Leads Vision Fest if you are interested to attend or to be a speaker. And you can also find her directly because she's tagged in all the posts, so you can connect with her directly. Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining on the first. It was an experiment for me, and you just jumped on it, the first person to join this experiment. You trusted me, so I am very thankful.
Well, thank you. It's been
Yeah.
wonderful to connect and be on your Salon of Brilliance.
Thank you. Thank you. So for those who are watching, bye-bye. And we're gonna stop sharing now, and we're gonna continue the conversation in the room here.